809 resembles a burned-out war zone.
All of a sudden, boom, and when you look up, it's a fireball and smoke, and yeah, but I mean, the heat was just intense. I couldn't believe how hot it was.
The plant exploded just before noon yesterday. Massive fireballs burst into the sky as a plume of black toxic smoke billowed over East Calgary. Firefighters used the infrared technology from the Hawks helicopter to plot their strategy. Finally, after 8 hours, they moved in to knock down the blaze. 2 men are presumed dead. 5 people are injured.
We continued to find hot spots. There was a natural gas leak, which we've now controlled. We had a few minor explosions. We're able to begin preliminary search efforts towards the 2 missing individuals. Unfortunately, because of the dangerous situation, we had to call those off after a period of time, and as of this time frame, we've not located any missing persons.
The cause of the blast has not been determined. Police and arson investigators will reconstruct the scene. That will include the recovery of debris that traveled hundreds of meters away from the blast.
If they do happen to find any problems with the houses that would require any kind of police attention, we ask that they just phone the regular line and be patient, and we will have somebody attend and look after their problems in due course.
Jeff Little joins us live from the scene of the fire. Jeff, now that the fire is out, fire crews still have a lot of work to do. How are they approaching this huge cleanup job?
Well, Ian, they started really yesterday once they extinguished those flames that were so evident from miles away. As you can see behind me, firefighters are still here in full force, and people are actually coming back to this neighborhood just to see exactly what is happening. You can see the destruction here, and man, what a sight this is to see. It's almost like a bomb hit this location, and people have been making that comment. People coming from all over the city to get a closer look. Everyone very curious as to what transpired here yesterday. Firefighters are staying on top of the situation. We do get the odd pop-up fire, the odd hot spot that causes problems, but they will be going through the site this afternoon, trying to find out more about this blaze and what started it.
Of course, now the focus is on the people who run Hub Oil. What do they have to say about all this?
Well, unfortunately, we haven't been able to talk to them yet. We haven't been able to get a call through. Some of the management types from Hub Oil have been in and around this area, surveying the site. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to catch up to them. That's talking with residents who are familiar with the plant and have gotten to know these people. They have been here for a very long time. We're hoping that they make some sort of statement today. We expect to hear more this afternoon on those 2 people who are presumed dead. We're not sure whether that announcement will come from the fire department, the medical examiner's office, or Hub Oil itself. So we are still trying to make contact with them just to see what their side of this story is, to see if they know what went wrong here.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Little reporting from the scene of yesterday's Hub Oil fire.
Thank you.
About 2,000 people who lived near the Hub Oil plant were evacuated from their homes yesterday afternoon.
They were allowed back into the neighborhood at 9 this morning. Doug Blair and his family were among the evacuees. They ended up at Jack James High School Evacuation Center early yesterday afternoon and then stayed in a hotel last night. The Blair family lives in a trailer park right next to Hub Oil. When they arrived home this morning, they were worried about what they might find.
Not major damages, but there's still, you can see the smoke. There's probably some toxic stuff that has drifted down from the atmosphere.
Emergency service officials have some warnings for people who live in the area of the blast. They say if you had any toys outside during the blaze, you should wash them with hot, soapy water and be sure to wear rubber gloves before any children actually touch them. Also, residents near Hub Oil should not eat any vegetables from their gardens. If you have any questions or concerns, you can go to the Pembroke Meadows Community Hall, where officials from the police service, the fire department, the CRHA, and disaster services will be on hand to answer your questions. Some residents made some frustrating discoveries when they returned home this morning. There are reports some homes in the evacuation area were looted while the owners were away. We'll have more on that story tonight at 5 and 6.
Insurance, if your property was damaged by flying debris or oil residue, or even if you were evacuated, you could have an insurance claim. Our consumer specialist, Tony Tai, is working on this story. Tony, what is the first step?
I think the first thing you should do is contact your insurance broker or your insurance agent. Now, whether or not you're covered will depend on the type of insurance policy you have and obviously the size of your insurance claim. For instance, if your house or car is covered with oil residue and you can't wash it off, you may have to hire a professional, and that could be covered depending on the type of policy you have. The same thing applies to the type of house insurance you have as well. Now, of course, how much you actually claim will depend on the size of your deductible.
Okay, now it's still too early to talk about damages, but for those who were displaced, can they be compensated?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the things that most home insurance policies do have, and they usually have a clause that covers what they call additional living expenses. If you were evacuated and you had to pay anything out of your own pocket for meals, transportation, or accommodation, you should be able to get that money back. Your insurance policy will cover extra costs for living somewhere else on a temporary basis. So once again, contact your insurance broker or your insurance agent and find out exactly what kind of a claim you can make. Not everyone will have one, but it's best to check.
Okay, thanks very much, Tony. That's good to know. Our consumer specialist, Tony Tai.
The experts say it looked a lot worse than it actually was. The Calgary Regional Health Authority and Alberta Environment kept a close eye on the fire at Hub Oil yesterday. They monitored air quality levels and will continue to do so, but they say as of right now, there's nothing to be concerned about. Michelle Gaze has more on that story.
Just don't know how I'm going to get it all off.
It's been raining oil in Patricia Phelan's neighborhood, drops falling all over her car, while kids are collecting debris that's also been falling from the sky.
I feel sorry for the people that live over there. We're this far away and we're getting all this, so imagine what they're getting.
Phelan's been watching all the black smoke billow over Marlborough Park, too, but it's what she can't see that's perhaps most concerning. The Calgary Regional Health Authority and Alberta Environment have been monitoring the air quality ever since the Hub Oil plant went up in flames. And according to them, we have nothing to worry about.
That's something that we're concerned about because of impact on the lungs, people with breathing matters, and the levels that are being measured are well below the level, the accepted level that Alberta sets in terms of for air quality.
But it's important you know that everything could change very quickly.
It's what has been described as a clean burn, so we're not seeing a lot of contaminants from the fire. As the fire is extinguished, we may see some more pollutants coming until it's completely put out.
The CRHA says it has no evidence of this disaster causing any long-term health problems, but will continue to keep a close watch on air quality. If you have trouble breathing, close your windows and doors and turn off the air conditioner if you have one. Michelle Gaze, CFCN News.
Also, if you have any health concerns, you can call the CRHA's information line at 265-INFO. That's 265-4636.
And Weather Center, we had some fog rolling in earlier this morning. It is expected to be gone in about an hour or two. And no, it had absolutely nothing to do with the Hub Oil fire, in case you were wondering, and I know some people were. We're looking west with the CFCN Skyview camera. When the fog disappears this afternoon, the sun should come out, and that'll help us get to about 21 degrees. And then tomorrow, the first of several days of at least showers or rain. We'll tell you more a little later on.
Agency, and the impression the premiers are trying to convey is one that they are united, even in a mood to joke a little.
I think this is the conference where Lucien Bouchard saves Canada, right? All the squabbling premiers put in place by Captain Canada, Lucien Bouchard.
But as they pose for this family photo, there are hints reaching an agreement is anything but a walk in the park. This rookie suggests reaching a consensus, like last year's United Front to push the federal government for health care dollars, may not be necessary.
It's not a do-or-die situation to have a consensus. Obviously, if we want to influence the federal government on their budget and where they set their priorities, it helps to have a consensus.
Tax cut talk divided the premiers well before they sat down to meet. All agree the federal government has to slash taxes. The issue is by how much. Smaller premiers argue for a balance between lower taxes and an increased social spending. Ontario, Alberta, and